All right, everyone. So, an article here from Game Rant is titled Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is being review bombed. And we're going to read one excerpt from it. Regardless, players still aren't best pleased with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. The game's Steam reviews have already fallen to mixed, with just 44% of the ones so far being positive. A lot of criticism stems from Call of Duty's Black Ops 7 campaign, which it recently emerged is always online and does not allow players to pause. Even some of the positive reviews highlight the campaign as a low point, with one user describing it as the worst campaign of all time. Now, I'm going to read a few of the reviews I looked here. It says mixed, although I guess wait, what? Why is this? I'm trying to see all of them, but I think these are just the negative ones. Can I see? How do I filter for all reviews? Well, I guess look, there's just a lot of okay. I got a few of them here. Okay, one of them said ChatGPT generates me a lackluster campaign with reused assets and cringe-worthy dialogue. An AI generated slop shooter. I was only getting this game to play with a friend, expecting a somewhat standard COD experience, but I had no idea how bad it has gone since last I played Black Ops 4. This used to be a good franchise. All right, let's read a positive one. How to farm easy Steam points and thumbs up. I don't know. Oh, it looks like that might be a bad one. If you're like me and you play COD for Zombies specifically, it's hard to be disappointed at the amount of content every year. Multiplayer is fun and the repurposed maps are fun to play again after several years, in my opinion. The movement is great too. Haven't dabbled into zombies yet, but I don't expect much because that's not really my thing. Campaign LOL, I haven't played since Modern Warfare 2, so I don't have opinion on that either. Bought the game for zombies, played 10 minutes, literally 2 rounds of zombies, not 2 matches, 2 rounds, refunded the game. COD refuses to listen to the fans. It's like they completely ignore Call of Duty fans. Game is hot dog water, as every COD has been since 2012. I mean, a giant dude boss fight on a floating island in the campaign. I mean, seriously, what is COD came to? If you buy and don't refund, you're supporting this trash to continue. Okay, so those are a lot of those. Um, I think the thing with this game, I'm just going to be completely real. I have not played the campaign yet, so I can't talk to that. But to me, seems like everybody hates it. So my guess is it stinks. Okay, I'm having a lot of fun with the online multiplayer. I really do like the multiplayer in this. I like the movement. The maps. I don't think they're A+ maps, but I think they're standard maps and they're fine. Right? I don't think they're bad, and I do like the weapons. I've one thing I've noticed is there is a large selection of weapons that I'm happy to use in this game, which hasn't been the same throughout, Call of Duty's history, right? There's a lot of games where you're like, I'm going to use one. This game, I've been using a lot. And so I do think that matters at the end of the day. But I can't disagree completely with some of the reason that people are not happy. Call of Duty, right? And I brought this up in one of my past videos, but I'm going to bring it up again. When you go back and you look at the campaigns of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, World at War, Black Ops, when this was, or even if you go deep and you go to Call of Duty 2, right? If you go back and you watch those games or play those games, watch anything on YouTube about those games, look at the campaigns, they were they were these games that it was like, okay, we're going to tell the story of whatever war we're based in. We're going to tell you a real deal story. The whole thing, right? The whole theme, what the game, the vibes the game gave off, right? The setting, everything about it was it kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. And I understand this is a multiplayer game, but the problem is we're just when you play this, right? There is a level of am I playing a Call of Duty game right now? Like, what about this is Call of Duty? And that's the part where even though I'm having so much fun with the game, because let me tell you this, I am having so much fun with this game. I've played it for hours on the online multiplayer portion, and I'm enjoying it. But there is a level of when you're playing it and you see even just before we don't even have battle passes out yet. We don't even have these crossover events yet. And I'm seeing the type of people that are walking around with all these weird things on, and it's just different. And that is a problem, right? That is a problem. I understand this is set in the future. Okay, so we're not going to get, that story that maybe you would get from a World at War or Call of Duty 4, but you could still go out of your way to make it feel like a military shooter. And the other downside I do think, and I listened to, I think it was a video from Nero Cinema, and I thought he brought up a really good point. So I want to bring up his point, which is he said the kill streaks feel different. They're harder to get, and they're doing less. like they're doing less on the field, right? So in a match, they're just doing less. They're not killing as much. They're harder to get, all of that. And he thought, well, maybe they got data on that because he was pointing out that in the games he played, when you would actually kill people, by yourself, right, with just your standard gun, people wouldn't get that mad. Everyone would stay in the match. Yet he said, look, when I called in my kill streaks, people started to quit. So he thinks they had data, right, that shows people quit because of kill streaks. People don't like getting killed by kill streaks. It causes them to leave a match. And so what they did was they made them harder to get and they made them less powerful. And to be completely honest with you, when I heard that, I said, man, he's probably right. But I got to be honest, I don't know that what they've done, the fix they implemented on that, is the solution. Because Call of Duty and kill streaks are synonymous, right? This is like when you hear people say, "Oh, they got to put kill streaks in Battlefield," and the Battlefield fans say, "No," right? That's because there's no reason to put them into Battlefield, right? It's not something that should be in that game, right? There are other you have all the vehicles you're able to get into all around the map. You don't need kill streaks in there. It's not part of Battlefield, but it is part of Call of Duty, right? One of the divides, one of the things that made Call of Duty multiplayer what it is the kill streaks, and it's kind of aggravating when I'm sitting there and I'm playing in these matches, and when you look back to even like a Call of Duty 4, and you called in your airstrike, and then you called in you had your UAV, you had your airstrike, and you had your attack helicopter. I'm not sure any of the kill streaks that we have now can be on par with that setup. I mean, the VTOL warship is cool. Don't get me wrong. I like the dog, that Robo Dog thing, and there's like the Napalm Strike. I get that. I've used them all. They're fun. They do get kills, and sometimes you have really good ones and you have really bad ones. But they just the excitement level just doesn't quite, I guess, hit the same as it used to. And it gets even worse when you compare to Modern Warfare 2, right? I mean, Modern Warfare 2 was the first one that had more than the three standard kill streak, right? So World at War, you had UAV, you had, I don't know what it was called, but oh no, it was like a recon plane, I think. You had the napalm strike, and then you had dogs, right? Remember calling in dogs? How excited we'd all get. Is there anything like that really in this game? Um, the Modern Warfare 2 was the first game that gave you more, right? You had a wider variety. Getting the Harrier, I mean, the Harrier used to have an airstrike, and then the Harrier would sit in the air and it would just decimate. And you'd be sitting there hoping, can my Harrier get me close to that chopper gunner? Can my Harrier please get me close to that chopper gunner? And then you get the chopper gunner or the AC-130, and that would decimate, and you'd hope you can get to the nuke. Or even if you didn't use that, right, you'd use the Predator missile instead. And I understand there are kill streaks that are kind of similar. They just don't seem to hit the same way they used to. They don't have the same excitement level. And so I understand the kind of theory behind that of maybe they got data, people didn't like it, they were quitting, and so they made the change. But I think it does overall affect the game. And one thing we know about the Call of Duty franchise right now is that the thing that's affected, okay, this series the most in a negative way is this kind of fixation on the data, right? This fixation on player retention and all of these things. And so I can't say I don't like this online gameplay because the truth of the matter is I really really have liked every second of it, right? I really really have liked every second of it. But I also can't say when they have a mixed rating on Steam that, oh, this is all kind of BS, right? This is just all kind of garbage, right? This shouldn't be this way, because the truth of the matter is I understand what people are saying, right? I understand why they're criticizing it. So I haven't played the campaign yet, which seems like it's the worst. And I even though this is an online game, right, in terms of that's where a lot of people are going to go with it, you should still be able to deliver a campaign. And it shouldn't be to this level of embarrassing where people are legitimately just posting clips all over social media of look how bad this is, right? You didn't have to do that. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.